So my resin cured overnight and I've sanded all bar 2. In the main, the result is at best underwhelming and at worst problematic, which I'll show you in a tick. The size of the holes isn't really big enough to allow the resin to be noticeable. It's merely a very long-winded way of filling a hole, so I don't think I'd bother in future unless it's a much larger knot hole. Now let me show you the 2 problematic ones. Here's the first. This is the one where a huge piece of the dovetail chipped out because of the knot there, and that really leaked out quite badly, and in the end I had to clamp a piece of timber up underneath, so that's going to require quite a bit of fettling to get that one back into shape. Started leaking out through a split in the timber that I didn't know was there. Well, they really cleaned up quite well. It was a lot easier than I anticipated it being, I think, in the main, due to the fact that the resin hadn't fully cured, so it was quite supple. As you can see there, I've still got a bit of filling to do to recreate that piece of dovetail that broke off, but I'm going to do that once I've got the cabinet assembled and glued, so that there's a natural boundary for the resin to fill. There's also some parts that it hasn't filled very well, which I need to come back to. That's obviously going to be at the back, so not a major issue, but even so I might do a little something with that. Well, I'm really down on the home run now, so I've got to sand all the pieces, at least the inside, so that I make it as easy as possible for myself. But while I sand internally, I'll tape over these end bits just to remind me not to sand them, which will slacken the joint off, and I don't want that. So I've got these bits to do, some sanding to do, the holes for the the holes for the hinges and for the adjustable shelves. And it'll be time for a glue up. I'm sure you'll be delighted to know I've spared you the boredom of watching the sanding. So internally, my panels are all sanded to 320. I'm ready to cut the holes for the shelf pegs and for the concealed hinges. And as you can see, I'm going to use Festool's LR32 system. Great system. Well worth the time and money investment, in my opinion. I've made things a little difficult for myself by not making my cabinet a multiple of 32mm high, and also by pre-cutting the dovetails. So I'm going to reference off the bottom to make sure I get alignment across the 2 side panels. My system's all calibrated. I've rechecked it, so it's been a while since I've used it. I've got my guides set at 37mm. I've got 16 up and out on my 2 end pegs, guide stops, rail stops, beg pardon. So I'm good to go. So here's the broken dovetail, which is also the one that the resin fill kind of went less than successful on. Well, an abject failure actually, but then. So let's zoom you in a bit closer. Erstwhile companion, if you would please. Over there, yeah. Over there, yeah.
Yes.
Over there, yeah.
Yes.
So I could go back to the resin, 12-hour set, could leak everywhere inside the cabinet, ruin everything, destroy my day. Or I could use 30-minute epoxy, which is much stiffer, much thicker, and in previous off-camera tests was very successful indeed. Took the colour very well. So that's what I'm going to do with this hole. The copper sulfate. Okay. Let's see how much of a mess we can make of this then. I'm going to try and dribble it in. Resin's cured. No leaks. I let it go off overnight for no other reason than it was late and I was tired. So it's well cured. Let's give it a sand. So I'm on final check over and sand and touch up before I move to finish, and I've got the odd little dark line which is a defect in my opinion. So I'm going to use some of this Osmo water-based filler. It's fantastic. You just take a little bit and always put the lid straight back on again. Being water-based, it dries out really quick. Just to soften that dark line. And I shouldn't have used the word perfect earlier on, should I? I'm just going to use my card scrape just to take that down. And then just go over it with a little bit of 600. Just to make sure they're all beautiful. So while my final little touch-ups are drying, I thought we'd talk finish. It's a bit of a choice, isn't it? This is a gorgeous finish. The smell is absolutely divine. I know that only lasts while I'm putting it on and then dissipates, but it's gorgeous. Danish oil. We all know how I feel about Danish oil. And this, a newcomer, clear glaze from Fides. Definitely not. I don't think it brings up enough luster. I think I'm going to be forced to go Danish oil again. Gosh, what a surprise, I hear you say. But it's a good finish. I'll prepare. apprehension fills the air as we approach finish time. Yes, I'm a little apprehensive. I've put an awful lot of work into these, so I really hope they come out well. As mentioned, I'm going to be using Danish oil for the finish, decanted into my Red Hot Buffalo Wings dispenser. And I'm also going to use or borrow an approach French polishers use, bit of cotton, wrapped up in a bit of cotton, so I can get a good amount on there and negate the need to keep going back to the dispenser, and then I can get on with applying. I have a lot of surface area to cover. Sorry, the third one's over there, just out of camera shot. So I'll prepare my sponge. Here we go. That looks absolutely stunning. I can see why French polishers like to use this. It's a brilliant idea. You haven't got to keep going back to the pot. Look at that pop. Got to show you this a sec. The Danish oil is really making that copper coloured resin pop like crazy. It's beautiful. And here they are, my 3 cabinets, complete bar a couple more coats of finish. Actually 3 coats of finish, I believe, in total they'll need. I can't tell you how delighted I am with them. Really, really pleased. I'm past pleased. I'm chuffeder than a chuffed thing. The dovetails have come out superbly, really, really well. Extra time for setup has really paid off. Even the resin has decided to pop like a witch's popping thing. Absolutely gorgeous. The next time you see the cabinets will be when I make the doors, by which time I'll have applied all the coats of finish, the pegs will be in, and the shelves. I do hope you're enjoying this series of videos on making these 3 cabinets to house my ever-growing collection of bourbons and rye whiskies and who knows what else could be in store for me. And I also hope you'll join me for the next set of videos, which will be focused on making the doors for these cabinets using oak and veneered on bird's eye maple. I'm looking forward to it. I hope you are too. Join me next time. Thanks for watching. Ta-ra.